Hello, Blitz fans of all ages, it's me, Plumcastle, here with a review on the Panzer IV-S. Now, the Panzer IV-S is a very interesting tank in my opinion, because even though it is labeled in the game as a medium, it really feels like a mix between a medium and a light tank, and we can kind of see that when we take a look at the stats, because on the one hand, it has a very good medium armor. It's obviously not as thin as a light tank's, but it's also not as thick as a heavy tank's, making it very effective given the other statistics that it has. And if we do take a quick look at the armor, you can see, especially against lower and same tier tanks, you've actually got some very nice turret armor. Obviously, your everywhere else is just kind of low. I mean, you have some spaced armor, but the main thing that makes this tank sing is obviously the turret armor, because that turret, I guarantee you, will get bounces, and you are going to see this in some of the replays that I will have going by. Now, that is about where the real medium feel comes to an end, I would say, because once we start to take a look at the gun, it becomes very much like a light tank in that regard, because you have, for one, a very good tier 6 medium view range of 240 meters. And when we actually take at the firepower itself, your AP rounds have the highest damage per minute for any tier 6 medium in the game at 1,926. And that's base DPM. That's no adrenaline, no gun rammer. That's just solid base DPM, which is very good. And like I said, is actually the #1 for a tier 6 medium. As well, it has 150 millimeters of penetration, again good for a tier 6 medium. Now, that might not sound like a crazy ton, especially when you're going against, say, a heavy tank at tier 6 or tier 7. That might sound really low. But when you look at some of the other things that the tank has, for example, its very low base aim time of 1.82 and your low dispersion of 0.316, it's going to make you accurate. On top of that, you have a 925 meter a second shell velocity, making your shells move through the air very, very quickly. And basically, as soon as you click the fire button, it's hit your enemy. It's that fast. And what that means is, even though you don't have the most penetration for going against heavies, it means that you're actually going to have a easier time aiming at some of the weak spots, really making that lower penetration not the biggest deal in the world. Now, of course, you do have to have a very fast reload, as you might have seen from the replays already, because at your 160 alpha, again, very similar to some light tanks, you do have to have that roughly 5-second base reload time to give you that insane damage per minute. And we're not even done going over the good stuff yet, because you also have 10 degrees of gun depression, meaning you can actually work some hold down positions, especially considering the fact that you do have that turret. Again, you can see in these replays going by, I am getting some bounces by the enemy. Now, there's really only one thing that I would say makes this tank not so fantastic, and that is your mobility. You've only got 44 forwards, which is actually the same as a Tiger 1. Now, the Tiger 1 is a fast, heavy tank, but you can kind of get the sense that it is not a very fast tank for zooming around the map all the time. And you can see also from the replays here that you don't have the greatest turret traverse. It is kind of slow. But that's really all that's bad, and honestly, I feel that this is just a slightly balancing factor to the tank, and it still plays very effectively. You can see we did clear those mediums. Right here, I would not suggest just YOLOing past there. I very easily could have gotten clapped if the SU-100Y was sitting where he was supposed to. Thankfully, though, he was not, and we do get a nice shot off onto him. And there's that very fast reload again. I mean, look at that. We hit him twice. No other tier 6 medium in the game could have done that. It is just so ridiculously fast, and it honestly feels really good when you can just spam the fire button and basically all of your shots go in, all of your shells go where you want them. It's just really, really cool and really fun. And really, this tank is just very good, especially at the price point that it usually comes out at. Currently, while I'm making this video, it is available for 3,500 gold, which, while it is slightly expensive for a tier 6 medium, I guess, is actually a very good price in my opinion, even though it is a little bit more expensive. Like I said, for what you're getting, you're just going to it's amazing. Now you can see here, there comes the reload again and the fast shell velocity, and we snipe that guy before he even retreats. Now granted, he did get stuck, but still very, very cool. Now, the tank, like I said, is just very good for some hold down positions, and you can play it in kind of two different ways. I mean, it is very versatile in my opinion. In this game, you can see I played a little bit more laid back, was frontline, but still kind of a little bit slower in terms of what I was doing, being a little bit more methodical with my gameplay. And the next game that you're going to see here, which will be on mines, as soon as it loads up, we're going to see a little bit more of an aggressive position. Again, still kind of front line, maybe a little bit more held back, but still very, very aggressive. Now, of course, I do not have the mobility to get to the middle of that hill. Granted, I would never go there to begin with. Everyone snipes you when you do that. And you're going to see we're going to do it to the enemy here. I've set myself up in a very nice position, and because of my, again, very fast reload, we do get a nice shot off onto him. Now, there is that AR. And again, like I said, because of your accuracy, you don't need to worry about heavy tanks too much, because you can fairly comfortably aim at the weak spots. Now, we did get hit once by the Proton Panther, but not to worry, because we get a very cheeky snapshot there. Honestly, that was a little bit of a rarity. You don't usually see a shot going like that, but still, when they do happen, it is pretty fantastic, and this tank is definitely better at doing them. Again, there you can see we get a nice shot onto that very, very small hatch on the ARL. Now, we got a bounce there. Like I said, the turret is very strong, and the fact that we bounced an ARL is very good, and you're going to see it's actually going to end up very possibly changing the game in the end. Now, currently I am farming out the bathtub there, did get a shot from that Jackson, so I did lose a few hit points, but we're still doing fairly good. Now, unfortunately, my teammate is actually going to die there from the ARL, so I do try to push up, and then I see that the Proton Panther's there, take a quick snapshot, doesn't hit, but I realize it is time to back up. Thankfully, the Cryos on my team decides to come up and help, and he gets a shot off onto the Proton Panther, and then I in turn clear out the Proton Panther, making it so that there's one less enemy for us to deal with. Now, the bathtub is pushing up in a flank, which is very weird. I mean, you saw earlier he was not in the position he should have been, and he's further decided to push up, but I'm okay with that. Now, we do get a weird bounce there. I think I was messing with my keys, trying to figure out what shell to shoot, and then it bounced. But anyway, we are still going to be able to have this ARL quite easily because of that, again, fast reload, and of course he has weak sides. Now, there is that agent down there, so I did need to pull back so I was not just sitting in his line of fire for a very long time. Now, in a minute, he's actually going to decide to push on to my friendly Cave 2. Now, we cannot just forget about the Jackson because we do know he's behind us. That's why I decided to push up here to help with the agent so that the KV2 could eventually clear him after we get 2 shots into him. And as well, you can see I am putting myself behind some hard cover so that the Jackson doesn't just have free shots on me. Now, of course, I couldn't remember at this point if he could clear me, because if you remember earlier, he actually did have a decent enough alpha to clear me. So I am playing this very carefully, and I'm going to go ahead and wait for the KV2 on my team to push up, because this isn't always a solo tank. You can see here I am trying to really work with my teammate, because in the end, the damage per game is not always the most important thing ever, and winning is definitely very nice, especially in this case where it should really be an easy game. And again, the bounces that I got during this game were crucial. I mean, the ARL very easily could have cleared me if he had penetrated that one shot, and it really, as you can see, changes the whole game. Now, you can see there I am being a little bit hasty with my shots, do get a few bounces, but overall, we do end up winning, and we do get the final kill. And that is the Panzer IV's. Very good in just really a lot of different positions. Hold down, supporting, it's just fantastic. And also, fun fact, it's great for modes too. Like when Gravity comes out, it's pretty much guaranteed that I'll play this tank at least one time during that event, because it's so great. And for the price point, like I said, it's a very, very good tank in my opinion. But anyway, that is the Panzer IV's. And so with that, I hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.